Hello. Today I was looking to talk about Warrior Cat's medicine. It's a major part of many roleplays in Warrior Cat's Ultimate Edition, and I think it's important I break down each of the herbs and treatments and things you might need to prepare to be a med cat. If it's easier for you to process things visually rather than listening, there's a link in the description for a website where I have all the herbs and definitions and whatever you might need. Besides that, let's start digging into these herbs. Quick disclaimer though, I might get some things wrong, so please correct me in the comments, and I'm not going in too much detail of where you can pick up and find the in-game herbs, because I want to explore that more in a separate video. Now let's start going down the list. First, I'm going to start with all the herbs that are in the game, like the ones that have models and have been added to the game. That's not all the herbs in the Warrior Cat universe, but it's a lot of the most important ones. Let's start with yarrow, low-growing bunches of white flowers. These can be chewed into a poultice and used like other herbs, but that's not what they're used for in the books. In the books, they can be either swallowed to make a cat throw up poison, or used to treat poison wounds, not normal ones like how poultice tends to treat. If you're looking for a good herb to turn into poultice, I would recommend chervil, a three-branched plant with lots of leaves sticking off its branches. It's very useful for stopping infections and it's what I usually chew into a poultice to apply on wounds. The final herb that can be chewed up into a poultice is dock leaves. They have long, wide leaves that curve downward, and can not only be used as a poultice to apply to wounds, but can also help with sore joints. If you're going to bandage those wounds, you'll need some cobwebs. Also called spiderwebs, these guys are incredibly useful for absorbing the blood from wounds after poultice is applied and can also be used to keep herbs in place that need to stay there. Let's talk about thyme. It has a long stem with little leaves scattered across it. It's perfect for calming anxiety and any negative emotions. White cough and green cough can be deadly to many cats, which is what makes catmint so important. Similarly to thyme, it grows on a long stem, but its leaves are lighter colored and much thicker and it often grows near two legs. Its usefulness for fighting those coughs cannot be understated. Juniper berries stand out in a crowd of many leaved plants and flowers. A big bush with blue berries is exactly where you'll find these guys. Simply snap a branch with lots of berries off and you'll gain access to the powers of relieving troubled breathing and stomach aches. It can prove itself especially useful when it comes to kidding. Don't judge moss by its appearance. It may look like, well, moss, but it's actually very useful. It is extremely absorbent, so it can be used to carry water to cats who may need it, or can be used to help save herbs for longer by giving them water, and it is used to fix up a run-down nest. Maybe the beauty of the borage plant is representing of the beauty of bringing new life, or maybe I'm overthinking a silly cat game. Either way, borage is exceptional at helping that said new life prosper, as when you give it to a queen it helps her produce more milk, but it can also be used to cool fevers. And last, but most certainly not least, is the poppy plant, a pretty yellow flower that can be used to harvest seeds when it's dry. And those seeds prove to be very useful for numbing pain and even make cats a bit sleepy, even. Before we finish off the video, let's take a quick look at some herbs and treatments that aren't actually in the game, and we might even get a bit mischievous, and even commit some tomfoolery, by talking about the spooky scary poisons. What could a stick possibly be useful for? It's literally a stick. Well, what if you're in pain? You might want to bite a stick, but can't you just eat poppy seeds? Well, if you're a kidding queen, poppy seeds must make you explode or something, because every medicine cat you know will tell you not to give them to a queen. So, usually the queen will be given a stick or few to gnaw at when they're in pain. It works better than you'd think. Water is pretty useful, like if a cat passes out, grab some wet moss, give it a squeeze, and boom, they wake up and probably get mad at you, but they are awake at least. What if you broke a bone? Well, just kind of chilling in some water can actually make it heal faster, since it gets to move around without any pressure on it since the water holds it up. Okay, so what if there's a dead body, pretty gross and stuff and probably stinky? Well, marigold smells really good, so just throw the body somewhere and cover it in marigold and boom, you got a slightly less stinky body, especially useful for any of the deranged murderers in the audience. Speaking of murder, herbs aren't always so helpful. There's a lot of poisonous herbs. You've probably heard of death berries, but how about nightshade, or maybe water hemlock? They're all pretty good ways to kill bramble star, or I mean anyone else who you might dislike. Well, there's a lot more herbs, like a lot more, and if I covered them all it would take longer than the second series spends walking, so I'll just leave it to you to read my website that I left in the description. I'm still updating it, so if there's any mistakes or weird wordings or just mising herbs, comment it below so I can fix it as soon as I can. If this video was cool, which it was, you should like and subscribe and ring the bell and give me all of your Robux. Bye bye.